Good morning. Globally, markets are starting the day on a more cautious footing as rate rise worries weigh on risk assets. The Financial Times reports U.S. chipmakers led a Wall Street slide, with the Nasdaq down for a second session and names like Nvidia under pressure. That matters beyond equities. It's a reminder that the artificial intelligence boom remains tightly linked to financing conditions, and that any shift in expectations for interest rates can quickly reprice the most AI-exposed parts of the market. In the broader technological revolution, the FT also reports SpaceX is pitching investors juicy yields in a $25 billion bond deal, with bankers upsizing the offering as high borrowing costs attract demand. It's another signal that big-ticket tech and space infrastructure is leaning on debt markets even as capital becomes more expensive. On global conflict, the Middle East remains volatile despite signs of shifting dynamics. The BBC reports Israeli troops killed 2 people in South Lebanon after a lull in fighting, with Israel saying they were Hezbollah operatives and Hezbollah calling it a ceasefire violation. The BBC also reports a UN Commission of Inquiry has accused Israel of committing genocide in Gaza by deliberately targeting children. Israel rejects the report as a libelous sham. Separately, Al Jazeera reports Israeli troops and tanks have been seen patrolling Syrian countryside near Quneitra, underscoring the risk of spillover across borders. There are also signs of easing pressure on a key global economic choke point. The BBC reports dozens of ships are again moving through the Strait of Hormuz after a US-Iran deal aimed at ending the war, with traffic rising sharply. Any sustained improvement there would be closely watched for implications for energy prices and shipping insurance costs. In international politics, the UK is heading for another leadership change. SBS and the SMH report Keir Starmer is stepping down, with talks underway involving leadership contender Andy Burnham and the country preparing for a new prime minister within weeks. Political instability in a major economy can feed into currency and bond market volatility, particularly if fiscal settings are questioned. Turning to Australia, policy and politics are focused on superannuation and the NDIS. ABC reports the self-managed super sector says it was blindsided by a Labour Greens deal that would ban self-managed super funds from borrowing to buy housing, with the sector arguing the government should instead target unscrupulous operators. The Conversation reports the extension of the NDIS inquiry is a problem for the government, likely reducing projected savings by several $100 million. On the Australian economy and the net zero transition, the SMH reports modelling from the Bankwest Curtin Economics Centre suggests WA's fossil fuel exports could fall by as much as $28 billion under a net zero future scenario, declining to around $11 billion by 2050. That's a long-run structural issue for state revenues, jobs, and investment pipelines. For the Australian Public Service and Social Policy, ABC reports researchers have launched a national suicide prevention outcomes map designed to help policymakers and frontline services identify what's working and where gaps remain. Locally, there are 2 developments to watch. First, biosecurity. The Guardian reports H5N1 bird flu has now been detected in birds on beaches in Western Australia, raising concern about impacts on wildlife and the risk of broader spread. Second, higher education industrial relations. ABC reports 2 senior Macquarie University academics are taking their redundancy case to the Fair Work Commission, alleging they were targeted due to union activity. That's the latest on the key material developments to start the day.